Hello everyone. Welcome to our YouTube channel, where you find solutions to all your love and relationship-related problems. And before we begin with today's topic, that is, signs he doesn't want to be with you anymore, I want you to wait for a second and click that subscribe button below, so that you receive a new video every day. And that way you will also motivate us to make more such videos. Done? Thanks. 9 signs he doesn't want to be with you anymore. I know it can be heartbreaking when you feel like the guy you're with no longer loves you and doesn't want to be with you anymore. He hasn't said this to you outright, but you know in your heart something's off. You might have even asked yourself, why doesn't he just break up with me instead of lingering and dragging things out? The truth is, breakups are hard, even if you are the one who wants to leave the relationship. Inevitably, feelings get hurt and he may genuinely not want to hurt you. So, you're here because you want to know the signs that a guy doesn't want to be with you anymore, and even might not love you anymore. Maybe you've been with him for a while and things just feel off lately. It doesn't feel like he's putting in as much energy, attention, and focus. Maybe it feels awful when you're together, like you can't stop fighting and half the time you don't even know what you're fighting about. Maybe he's just gotten really distant and cold recently and it feels like he might be pulling away for good. Whatever the reason, things are going badly with him and you're worried that this might be the end. It could feel like he doesn't even want to be there anymore, like he's fallen out of love with you. I know how awful that feels, and I'm here to help. These are the biggest signs that a guy could have fallen out of love with you, and doesn't want to be with you anymore. After all, knowing for sure where the relationship stands will give you what you need to take the next best step. But hey, before we begin, it's important to note that a lot of the signs that he doesn't want to be with you have to do with him putting in less effort. Maybe he's no longer opening up to you and has gotten really cold lately. Or, maybe he doesn't want to go on dates like he did before. Whatever the specifics are, the point is he's not putting in as much time and energy as he did at the beginning of the relationship. And while that is a good indicator that he doesn't want to be with you, it's not true all the time. There could be other reasons your boyfriend is not stepping up as much as he used to. Maybe he's just gotten complacent in the relationship, or lazy. It's also possible he's just taking you for granted and doesn't feel like he needs to show up in the relationship as much to keep you happy because you keep showing up for him despite his lack of effort. Sometimes all it takes for a guy like this to step up is to face the possibility of losing you. Sometimes guys just need space in a relationship and this isn't a big deal. If that's the case, just back off for a while and focus on yourself and see what happens. If he's interested, he will come back. But, if he genuinely no longer wants a relationship with you, he might take this opportunity to leave the relationship for good. If you want to know if he just needs space or wants to be out of the relationship for good, watch this video till the end to know these definite signs he doesn't want to be with you anymore. The 9 biggest signs he doesn't want to be with you anymore. 1. It seems like everything you do annoys him. The foundation of any great relationship is that it feels great to be with each other. That's how great relationships are built. 2 people realize that they can be genuine and open with each other, and that they like who the other person genuinely truly is. That's why it's a disconcerting sign when he starts getting annoyed at everything you do, even the little stuff. Obviously, if he's going through something really stressful, like losing his job or problems with his family, he might be a little short-tempered. But if he's not going through anything specific and he doesn't seem to snap out of it and keeps getting annoyed at you, that's a big sign that he might be having second thoughts about your relationship. 2. He's closed himself off from you and stopped sharing. You have to compare his current behavior to his past behavior for this sign. If he used to be really open with you, talking about his feelings, or how his day went, or really anything that was on his mind, and now he's become more closed off and aloof, it's a bad sign. If he was never really that open with you in the first place, then nothing really changed, and it's not a sign that he doesn't want to be with you anymore. Also, this is another one that could be because of some external circumstance. If he's having a problem he doesn't think he can talk about, he might close off rather than mention it. But if he used to be open with you and now he's stubborn and closed off, and he stays that way for a long time, it could mean that he doesn't want to share himself with you anymore, which is a very bad sign for the future of the relationship. 3. He's totally stopped texting you back. If he's super passive-aggressive or he doesn't like confrontation, this could be his way of telling you that he doesn't want a serious relationship with you. At the same time, it's important to note that texting naturally falls off the longer you're with someone. At the beginning, you might have texted back and forth all the time. But as time goes on and the relationship deepens, most guys will scale back the amount of texting. So if you're just texting less, that's not necessarily a sign he's not interested anymore. But if he's routinely ignoring your texts for more than a few days and just flat out not communicating with you, it could be because he doesn't want to be with you anymore. 4. All of a sudden he needs lots of space in the relationship. Guys need space for lots of reasons. It's completely, 100% normal for a guy to occasionally pull back and take some space in a relationship. The best thing you can do when a guy needs space is let him take some space. Normally he'll return refreshed and ready to be with you. Where it stops being normal is when he's become so distant for so long that it has you wondering whether he even wants to be in the relationship at all. I'm not talking about days, or even weeks here. If you were in a committed relationship and he's pulled away and hasn't come back for a significant period of time, it could be that he doesn't really want to be there anymore. There's no use guessing, only he knows for sure. If he's been withdrawn for way longer than a couple weeks, you're well within your rights to ask him what's going on in his head and whether he still wants to be with you. 5. He doesn't help you when you're hurting. Relationships are all about supporting each other when needed. Lots of the appeal of a relationship is having someone on your side who can help you when things are going really wrong and you feel awful. It's part of the emotional bond of a relationship. So if he's not interested in comforting you or helping you when you feel down, he's cutting off one of the most important ways to connect emotionally in your relationship, and it's a sign that he could be thinking of cutting ties altogether. 6. He really tries to hurt you when you're fighting. Everyone fights differently. One rule about successful couples is that they usually fight to solve a problem, instead of hurt each other. That's why it's important to compare how you fight now to how you used to fight. If fights in your relationship with him always eventually turned dirty and had one or both people saying mean things to each other, this isn't such a big sign since nothing has really changed. But if your fights used to be pretty reasonable, and have turned nasty, that's a sign of a lot of negative emotions like anger and frustration about the relationship bubbling up in him, and that could definitely tear a relationship apart. 7. He's gotten really selfish and stopped putting in effort. This is one of those signs where it's up to you to decide what you want from the relationship. Like I said before, this could just be him taking the relationship for granted and testing boundaries. If you make it clear that it's not acceptable to you, he might shape up. But if he shows no intentions of putting in more effort even after you make your needs clear, that's a big sign that he's not interested in doing what it takes to continue the relationship. 8. You've totally stopped having sex. Obviously, in almost every relationship your sex life slows down as the relationship goes on. Every person is different, and everyone has different needs when it comes to intimacy in a relationship. The most important thing is that both partners feel like their needs and preferences are being met. So if you've stopped having sex altogether, it's a big sign that unless neither of you really wants sex in the first place, the intimacy in the relationship could be falling apart. 9. It seems like he's in a really bad mood all the time. Like we talked about before, relationships are only as good as they feel. If it doesn't feel good to be with each other, the relationship doesn't have much to stand on. After all, why choose to spend a ton of your time with another person who it doesn't feel good to be with? This is another sign that might not mean things are over if he's going through lots of tough stuff in his life. If he's under a lot of stress, then it makes total sense why he might be in a bad mood. But if he's not going through anything in particular and it seems like he's always in a bad mood when he's around you, that's a big sign that he doesn't really want to be with you anymore. Final thoughts. If you really wanted your relationship to work, I know how hard it must have been to watch these 9 signs your man doesn't want to be with you. This is especially true if more than one of these signs rings true for your relationship. It's a hard pill to swallow. I know firsthand how painful this can be to accept. You don't want to take no for an answer. You want to prove that you are worthy of their love, time, and affection. However, accepting the reality that someone doesn't want to be with you is the first step to finding the love that you truly desire. Letting go of what's not working can be the biggest gift you give to yourself. Seeing a breakup as the only sensible step toward having a relationship that works gives you the freedom to walk away powerfully and be excited to see what's next. If a guy doesn't want to be with you anymore, know that it doesn't mean you're unlovable or unworthy. It just means he isn't interested in dating you. Did you find this information helpful? Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe button. And leave a comment below this video to let me know your thoughts. If you have any questions, please drop me a comment below to this video. Thank you for watching this video.